Do you really expect your muscles to grow bigger and bigger just by shoveling more and more protein into your body? What if eating more protein isn't just unnecessary, but actually makes it harder for you to build muscle? Today, I'm going to walk you through new research that challenges everything we thought we knew about protein. And I'll reveal the two things that build more muscle than protein ever will. But first, how did protein become the most important nutrient for muscle in the first place? Some old-school bodybuilders took this to extremes. People were eating dozens of eggs a day, over 300 grams of protein, and pounds of chicken breast. I'll be honest, I did the same. I ate around 200 grams of protein every day for nearly 20 years because I believed that if I missed my protein target, I was leaving gains on the table. Here's where that belief comes from. When you lift weights, you trigger muscle protein synthesis, a signal that tells your muscles to build. Building muscle is like building a house. Training is the blueprint, and protein is the bricks. Without bricks, nothing gets built. But once gym culture learned this, we didn't just want houses, we wanted mansions. And that mindset stuck. Even today, lifters chase 200 grams of protein or follow the 1 gram per pound rule like it's absolute truth. The food industry capitalized on this obsession. Protein cereal, protein chips, protein cookies, even coffee with added protein. Most of it contains cheap protein in small amounts. But because it says high protein on the label, people pay more for it. Here's where things get interesting. A group of top protein researchers wanted to know how much extra muscle you actually build by eating more protein. They analyzed 62 long-term resistance training studies in which participants lifted weights but consumed different amounts of protein. Then they plotted protein intake against muscle growth. The results were surprising. In one study, participants ate what most lifters would consider low protein, about 45 grams per pound of body weight. For a 180-pound person, that's roughly 82 grams per day. That group gained a certain amount of muscle. Then researchers doubled the protein intake. According to gym logic, that should mean double the gains, but muscle growth was almost identical. They pushed it even further to around 270 grams of protein per day. Despite eating 3 times more protein, those participants actually gained less muscle. You might think this is cherry picking, but it isn't. When researchers looked at all the studies comparing moderate to high protein intakes, the trend was basically flat. Increasing protein beyond a certain point produced little to no additional muscle growth. As Dr. Eric Trexler from Duke University explains, if you're building a house and you already have more bricks than the blueprint calls for, you don't get a bigger house, you just end up with leftover bricks. But graphs are one thing, real people are another. Pro-natural bodybuilder Alex Leonidas cut his protein intake in half and switched entirely to plant-based sources. He went from 200 grams per day down to as low as 90 grams. After more than 2 years, his recovery, strength, and muscle gains remained the same. He benches over 400 pounds at a body weight of 81 pounds. His progress didn't disappear. So if protein isn't the main driver of growth, what is? In one study, researchers had people double their protein intake while doing no training at all. After 8 weeks, there was no muscle, no strength, and no gains. Protein alone did nothing. In another study, patients on extremely low protein diets, under 50 grams per day, still gained muscle and strength once they started lifting weights. Training made the difference. Calories matter too. In one experiment, lifters followed the same training program. One group added a high-calorie carb shake, the other added a high-calorie protein shake. Both groups gained similar amounts of muscle. It wasn't the protein driving growth, it was the extra calories. When you put all this together, the priorities become clear. 1. Hard training comes first. 2. Enough calories to fuel that training comes second. Protein supports the process, but it's rarely the limiting factor. In fact, too much protein can sometimes hurt progress. Protein is very filling and has a high thermic effect, meaning it burns more calories to digest. If you struggle to gain weight, this can make it harder to eat enough. It can also cause digestive issues. On top of that, protein is expensive, and excess protein your body doesn't need is simply burned for energy. When protein takes up too many calories, it pushes out carbs and fats. Too little fat can disrupt hormones. Too few carbs can hurt training performance. That doesn't mean protein is useless. There are situations where it matters a lot. If your protein intake is very low, increasing it to moderate average levels clearly improves recovery and growth. That threshold is around 0.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Protein also becomes more important when dieting, especially below 15% body fat, where preserving muscle matters more. And finally, adherence matters. Some people simply enjoy eating protein, and protein powders can be a convenient way to meet daily needs. So how much protein should you actually eat? For most lifters, 0.55 to 0.63 grams per pound of body weight is already close to maximizing muscle gains. Going slightly higher, 0. 64.7 grams per pound. Provide extra insurance. Higher intakes, up to 1 gram per pound, mainly make sense when dieting or when psychological reassurance matters more than efficiency. I used to eat well over 1 gram per pound because I thought it was necessary. Now I eat closer to 0.73 grams per pound with no loss in muscle gains. If anything, shifting calories toward carbs has improved my training and digestion. Understanding this removes a lot of stress. You don't need to obsess over protein. Muscle growth isn't built on protein alone. It's built on hard training, enough calories, and just enough protein to support the process. Stop chasing protein and start training smarter. If this changed how you think about muscle growth, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments how much protein you actually eat. Dar?